Hello, namaste. This is me Kishore and welcome to Trekking Talk. We're going to talk about Annapurna Base Camp Trek. One of our clients, Mr. Elliot, just finished Annapurna Base Camp Trek in August, and we're going to talk in details about this trek. Well, namaste, Elliot. Welcome to our Trekking Talk. It's really nice to talk with you.
Namaste.
At the very historic city Bhaktapur. How did you heard of Nepal and ABC Trek?
So I've been researching for a long time on weeks to go. I live in Hong Kong, so only 5 hours overnight you can get here, and obviously that's a big opportunity. I've got a couple of friends that work in Nepal. They've done experiences like this and they recommended it to me. So for the last couple of years, I've always wanted to do it. I had a week off work at the end of August, and obviously it's monsoon season, so almost a bit of a challenge, but at the same time I really wanted to squeeze that in. So I looked up on Google, looked up for a 4-day trek, and you guys came up straight away. But I think what actually stuck you guys out from everyone else was the fact that you offered WhatsApp support. And that really supported me because I really couldn't spend much time on organizing the trip, and that's where I handed it over to you, and you could organize everything for me, including like travel costs, travel expenses and everything. So that was really great for me as well.
Well, that's great. Well, so the next question goes to you. What are the key highlights or must-see attraction along the Annapurna Base Camp Trail?
So it's tough, obviously because we hiked during monsoon season. The weather was very up and down. So obviously when we started, it was very steep climb, but it was pure sunshine. I had my shirt off all day. It was great.
Yeah, obviously.
And then we had 3 or 4 hours of like consistent rain.
Yeah.
So in terms of sightseeing during the rain, it was quite difficult, and obviously dangerous as well. So we wanted to try to get to like base camp as quick as we could.
Yeah.
But in terms of sightseeing, as you go, you'll see different variations of the mountain. I think that's what's probably the best thing about it is
in every couple of hours.
Every few hours. And I think everyone always thinks when I get to the top, that's when I'm going to see the mountain in all its glory. But it's not like that. It's as you go up, it's gradual.
Yes.
And what I really liked about it is how you work your way up the mountain in various valleys and everything. So you see all sort of hot springs, also the waterfalls, which were amazing.
Yeah.
But also what's really cool is you get to walk through some of the villages along the mountain, and you get to see how locals live and do everything. And for me, one of the big highlights, I'm a dog guy. So seeing all the dogs, all the local dogs, amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
They all look like huskies, and it was like, for me, that was a really cool experience. I think the first station that we got to, we had 3 dogs that actually followed us up like 5 stations.
Yeah, they are known as the local guys.
Yeah, and they'll follow you. And then I was asking my guide, I was like, so will they come to the top? And they're like, no, once they get to a place where they have a bigger dog, they'll stop.
Just come back. The dog has their territory.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, I think that was one of the coolest parts of it, is because you kind of feel like you're doing it on your own because you've got the Sherpa with you, also the guide, but also you have all this, everything that's got in terms of life that's living over there, and like people living on the mountain, also the dogs, and it was unbelievable. Yeah,
that's right. So in your experience, what is the best time of the year on the trek, the Annapurna Base Camp trek, and how do weather conditions impact on the trek?
Yeah, so I've obviously never been. I do a lot of hiking in Hong Kong, so it's difficult for me to kind of understand how the seasons work here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know it's going to be wet during August, and then September it clears up. I know how the seasons work, but how wet is the question, and that was something that I was worried about. Is coming late August it's going to be tough because you're obviously still going to have that rain, but it's not going to be consistent like it is at the start of August.
Yeah.
So obviously packing your bag is important. You need to pack for wet days, dry days. We experienced all the seasons during the 4 days. Snow at the top and everything like that. So it is difficult. But one thing that I shared to you before was the fact that when we got onto the mountain, it was pretty much only me there during this time of year, because I know next week things will pick up.
Yeah, obviously, there will be hundreds of people along the trail.
But for anyone at home, I would say in August, it is a risk. You could have a week of just consistent rain. Yeah. But again, the higher you get, it turns to snow. And then if you get higher up to ABC, then the clouds should clear in the morning. So I wouldn't say August is a complete write-off. I'd say it's something you should consider if that's the only time you have. but expect rain during that time.
So
But one thing that is nice is you wake up in the morning, the sun's out, it's clear. We only had one day where it was raining in the morning. Every other day it was clear. And then once it gets to the evening time, it might rain. But I mean, honestly, by the time you're walking and moving, that's fine.
So in overall, yes, August is very peaceful time. But
Peaceful,
you
yeah.
have to be ready for the rain.
But I can imagine, like I said to you before, I can imagine those huts and those lodges during peak season being really busy. And I think the last thing you want when you get off the mountain at 6, the first thing you want is a shower, right?
Obviously.
Yeah. And that was what was great for me is I'd get in, I could go straight for a shower, no one waiting, go straight in. But then, obviously, if you came in the next 2 weeks, you're going to be waiting for a shower, and I think that's a big part of it.
There will be hundreds of people.
And also, not only that, it's like breakfast is going to take longer, lunch is going to take longer.
Obviously, even you have to wait for the passing the people and
Yeah.
the trail.
So
Even for the pictures, when you see the really nice viewpoint, you
Yeah.
have to wait for the picture.
yeah, so I think it's a risk. Obviously, August is a big risk because there is a chance that it could rain. But I would say it's a risk worth taking, just because if you can, you're always going to have at least a couple of days that are nice.
Yeah.
And if you're walking through rain for 2 days to get 2 days that are nice weather, then that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, so, yeah. Could you please describe the typical day itinerary and what kind of accommodation trekkers can expect along the trek?
So, a typical day is, it really depends. You plan the night before with your guide. You kind of sit down with him while you're having dinner to decide when's a good time to leave. Obviously, this time of year, again, August is difficult to predict. You don't know, even if you look at the weather app, it's not going to be consistent. It's really tough. So usually we would try to leave around 6 or 7 a.m., depending if it's clear. Obviously, in August, the earlier you leave, the better, because you have the longer time spending in the sunshine. And then obviously later in the afternoon, you get 3 hours of maybe rain. But it depends on the day. So the first day we only had 12K to do. So we started at like 11, because obviously we had lunch before we started. Day 2, we had a longer day to do. We had about 17 kilometers to do. So the earlier we left, the better, but it was raining in the morning. So we weren't in too much of a rush to leave. It just didn't seem necessary, because it honestly did look like it was going to rain for the whole day. So it was like, if we arrive at 6 or 7, it's going to be rainy anyway. So let's just take our time. But yeah, your typical day is wake up, have breakfast, kind of talk to your guide about aligning on what time to leave. Obviously, the only thing is you have to unpack your bag every time, so pack your bag up. I would typically usually shower in the evening before bed, or once I finish the hike, and not shower in the morning. Obviously, it costs on the mountain to have a hot shower, so you need to think about that. So I wouldn't shower in the mornings, have my coffee, make my bag, and then we'd set off. And then we'd usually stop for a water break and maybe a snack break at around 11 a.m. And then really it's good how the mountain works, because you have camps probably every 3 or 4 kilometers or 3 kilometers, probably every hour walk. So you can kind of strategize when you want lunch. So if it gets to 11:30 and you're not hungry, you can kind of hold out, which is actually really nice because you're not forced to eat. And honestly, by the time it gets to 1:30, you're pretty hungry. So you get to the lodge, and we usually strategize the lodges based upon where they were in location-wise. So we would never pick a lodge that was, after you finish lunch, you have to walk uphill. You have to go downhill afterwards. So it was good strategy, because obviously when you finish lunch, you just want to go downhill. You'll see if you ever do it, it's very up and down. But it makes that part of it interesting. So
it's like the life, you just go up and down.
Exactly.
The mountain is exactly like our life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, so what are some common challenges or difficulties trekkers might face on this trek, and how can they prepare for this?
Common challenges. I think it's hard. You get very anxious when you're packing your bag and you're packing everything up. Obviously, you're in Hong Kong. You don't know how. My first time in Nepal, I don't know what the weather's like. The weather's like this right now, but when I landed, it was complete monsoon. So it's very tough to predict what you're going to get. And obviously you look at the weather app and it's tough. So that's where I lent to you, and you gave me a list of what to bring. But also, like, for a trek and with the way the mountain's set up, is if you do forget something, you'll be able to find it, or someone will be able to provide it for you. I forgot a down jacket. I had like a North Face thicker jacket, but I really needed like just a thin layer base for when it rained. And we were able to buy that in Kathmandu. So don't fret yourself too much about purchasing, because once you get here, and it's very reasonable, the price in Kathmandu, so once you get here, it's absolutely fine. Other challenges is altitude sickness. So ABC is usually a 6-day trek.
Yes.
We did it in 4, and that was because of my timeline, not your timeline. So it's nobody's fault. It's just the fact that we only had a smaller window. So we kind of did a higher altitude in a shorter space of time. I didn't really know I had altitude sickness until probably I got to ABC. So we got to, was it MBC?
MBC, the Machu Picchu base camp.
Got to MBC, which is the base camp prior to ABC, and I felt a little bit like lethargic, tired. Yeah, just not 100%. But not sick as throwing up, not anything bad.
Tiredness.
Yeah, but I wanted to. We had like an hour and a half to go from MBC to ABC, and I really wanted to go further because I didn't want to risk waking up at MBC and then the skies being clear the next day, and then I'm not at the top of the mountain, so or as high as I can go. So I pushed through, but then when I got to ABC, I felt a little bit worse. But luckily, it was like 7 p.m. Well, 6:30 we arrived, and I had a shower and just passed out straight away. So that was a good thing. I just got some rest, and the next day I felt okay.
Yeah, the next day after the
felt
really
fine.
Nice view of the mountain.
Yeah. I mean, that'll wake me up. Yeah, so that was fine.
That's great. Yeah. Can you share any memorable experience you encountered you had during the trek to Annapurna Base Camp?
So there's lots, but the one that really sticks out is day 2. This was the day that I mentioned just then. Was we left Bamboo hotel, and it was raining quite heavily, and you could when you can tell when it's just going to rain all day, it's not going to clear. And the guides were like trying to tell me that it might clear later on, but I kind of knew that the way the clouds were formed, that it was going to be pretty miserable all day. So it's okay. Walking in rain doesn't bother me. But it is quite nice when you get as high as you can go, that you get a nice view or something to take a picture of. Like that feeling, you know. So we got to MBC and it was still raining. And then we dropped off one of my friends, and then we had about an hour and a half to go up to ABC. This was probably about 4:30. So I had an hour and a half to go. We were going to arrive at about 6. And then literally, it was pretty amazing. Literally as you can see ABC, the clouds cleared. And then we could see, couldn't see everything, but just to have something to see in terms of the mountain. So I could see probably half of ABC, but I got a really nice picture of the billboard of ABC Base Camp, and then the mountain in the background. So that was pretty amazing, because the fact that it was cloudy all day and then it cleared just for that.
Just for you, it's kind of encouraging you to
the
destination.
So but then when we got to camp, I had a shower, it started raining again, and I was a bit nervous about the next day. And then the next day, obviously on top of ABC, I was sick the morning before, and I really pushed myself to get to ABC just for that morning, because I really wanted like a clear day. And I remember my guide knocking on my door, and because it's like blackout curtains, I kind of presumed that it was just going to be raining outside, and I was like, no, I've come all the way to the top of Annapurna Base Camp and it's raining. And then I opened the doors and it was completely blue sky. So that was a really cool feeling. And even like for anyone that's never done it, even if there is a bit of cloud, it actually makes the pictures even more stunning. And the view is just like unbelievable when you get up there. So we probably we woke up at like 6 a.m. We had a coffee. We kind of waited for some of the clouds to clear. And when you get that high, the clouds are very thin. So the weather changes consistently, very consistently. So even if, for example, if you wake up at ABC and it's cloudy, in 15 minutes time, it could be clear because you're so high up. So that's something to think about. Don't get too disheartened if you wake up and
Yes.
it's not great. Just stay up there long enough and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And honestly, you're coming down, so you're coming down at a much quicker rate. So you can kind of give yourself a little bit more time at ABC if you need it.
Yes.
We really didn't need it because, first of all, I had altitude sickness
Yeah.
the night before and a little bit in the morning. So it's not that I was in a rush to leave. Like, I really wanted to see the mountains and kind of see the
Obviously,
sunrise.
yes.
I used my drone a little bit, which was great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was quite keen to get down,
Yeah.
just because I've heard, and whenever I've had it in the past,
Yeah.
the quicker you go down, the quicker you feel better.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious.
Much more, and you get more oxygen, and you are recovered very
Yeah,
fast.
and you just feel more awake. So
Yeah.
we kind of took some pictures, which was really nice. We had breakfast together outside with the dogs that were there, which was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we made our way down at about, we woke up at 6. We probably made our way down about 9:30.
9:30. Yeah.
But obviously walking down, you do it at a much
Obviously,
quicker
yeah,
rate.
it's really, yeah. As you go lower, yeah, you feel more energetic and more comfort. Eh?
Yeah, and then by the time, probably like an hour into the hike, I kind of just felt really great again.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's a strange feeling because you feel so low when you have this sickness.
Yes.
Not so low, but like you just feel lack of energy.
Yeah.
And I think for anyone considering doing this, I would definitely recommend doing the 6-day.
Yeah.
Just take your time,
Yes.
because then when you get to the
Enjoy the
when you get to the top, you won't feel like the way I did.
Yeah.
So just take your time with it.
Yeah.
And I met a lot of people on the mountain that were kind of just doing the 6 days, and
Yeah.
there's so much stuff you can do on the mountain rather,
Yeah.
rather than climb. You can.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was painting on every stop.
Yeah.
There was a family that were just kind of hanging out. There's
Yeah.
really cool places to hang out in the lodges and stuff.
Yes.
So don't feel like you have to do it quickly.
Yes.
And also, when you do it over 6 days, it means that you can break down your times to maybe 10K a day.
Obviously. Yeah.
So it's like,
More comfort.
it makes more sense.
Yes.
So looking back is one thing I probably would change is I'd push it to a 6-day. On the other hand is I'm really happy that I was able to do this in the time that I had. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So there's 2 ways of looking at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are the essential items or gear that trekkers should pack for Annapurna Base Camp trek?
Gear. So
In your experience, yeah.
yeah, I really needed a new jacket.
Yeah.
And we went shopping in Kathmandu.
Yeah.
But I've needed a really nice jacket for a while. I bought myself a nice new North Face. So the time of year that I went, the only time I really needed that jacket was at ABC.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it was too hot otherwise.
Obviously. Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about, for anyone doing ABC, I don't know what other times of year, but I wouldn't worry too much about buying like an expensive like ski jacket or whatever. You don't need it. Obviously for me, I wanted it anyway. So I wore that once. Definitely you need the rain overall, what they called
Yes. Yeah. Raincoat. Yeah. Poncho.
the poncho. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was key because I had thick. So I bought thick ski trousers,
Yeah.
but also I wore shorts the whole trek. So I wore shorts all the way up the mountain. Even at ABC, I was wearing
yeah.
shorts. But I didn't want to put my ski pants on because it was too hot. Because you're walking uphill,
Yeah,
right?
When you're walking, it's too hot.
Even if it's raining, you get really hot. So I didn't want to put my ski pants on. But that's where I had the poncho, which was perfect because you still get air up the
Yes,
poncho
yeah, and you're covered by the rain.
and you're covered by the rain. So obviously a poncho is essential. My dry towel, I would say bring 2.
Yeah.
It's difficult for it to dry.
Yeah, especially when you are
Yeah.
trekking in August. Or,
You can dry your stuff, you can clean your stuff, but overnight, obviously because it's moist up there and it's still kind of wet, it'll stay wet. So if I was going to say one thing is bring 1 extra dry towel.
one extra, yeah.
Again, they don't provide towels on the mountain, so think about that. You also need to strategize your showers because it costs to have a shower.
Yeah.
But I would say there are certain camps that don't have hot water. So when you're thinking about moving up the mountain, you really do need to think about whether you want a hot shower, whether you can have a cold shower, how cold it is.
Yeah.
For us, it wasn't too cold outside, so I had 1 cold shower and I think I had 2 hot.
Yeah.
But what I would say is one of the best things about finishing for the day is putting your bag down and then just having a nice warm shower.
Yes. Yes.
So make sure you're in constant communication with your guide, and he can actually call ahead. They have numbers for all the camps. You can actually call ahead and just be like, look, have you got any hot water going? So I would say that's essential. In terms of food wise, I didn't take any snacks because I'd eat quite a lot during my breakfast, lunch and dinner. The mountain provide great food. It's quite consistent as you go. The prices change, just to let you know. It varies from bottom to top. I mean, that's common sense because of everything that they sell or make. It has to be brought up the mountain.
Yes, they have to carry from.
So you need to kind of think about, if you're on a budget, you need to kind of think about how you're spending your money. Beers are quite expensive, so maybe don't have beers at ABC. Maybe save your beers for down the bottom. But next time I'll definitely know that. It's like it's kind of strategizing how you do that. And I didn't eat at ABC, not because of the cost, like I would have done if I was hungry, but I was sick. But if you're on a budget, one thing you could do is eat at NBC the day before, go up to ABC, sleep, come back down, and then have breakfast at NBC. So that's something you can think about if you are on a budget. But I would say try to just enjoy the experience. If you're hungry, eat. Like that's the main thing.
Most important.
Like you're here, you've already spent the money. Just go ahead and enjoy it. It's not crazy expensive up there. It's just surprising because we're in Nepal, but at the same time,
you're in the mountain.
You're in the mountain, and all the stuff has to be brought up manually.
Manually.
There's nothing that will fly up there, so just think about that.
Well, so so how does the trek support local communities and conservation efforts in the Annapurna region?
So this is something I had a lot of time to think about. I think when you're on the mountain you do have time to think, and one thing I did notice is walking through the farms is how they would survive. Like obviously we stop off, we eat and we spend money and we support them. But one thing you can really take in is like the environment around you and the people working around you as you're hiking. So I wouldn't say, obviously we support the economy in terms of the mountain, but the farms would still be there if it wasn't for the hikers. One thing I did feel good about is like the Sherpas. I was speaking to him about how the things that he's done just because of the opportunities he's had because he's a Sherpa. So that was really nice. One thing I did learn as well is the community got together. I think this was for Everest Base Camp. There was a plan to design a road from base camp like straight to the destination. And the community got together to stop it, right? Just because they didn't want to damage the environment.
Yes, obviously, they want to damage the nature.
And I think how popular it is to like hike and trek here, and also mountain climb in Everest, is if you create like a one-way road, straight, like a doable road from Everest straight to the city, all that's going to happen is hotels will be built up either side.
The nature
and everything's destroyed. So that I was really proud to hear that, the fact that they got together to kind of support the mountain. And I think if you look at a lot of other cultures or other places that you'd live, is if there was an opportunity to bring more money in, people would support it. Whereas it seems like the Nepalese people are very much conscious of where they are and how lucky they are to have this around them, and the fact that they want to be able to support that. So I think that was really cool.
That's right. Well, so what advice would you give to someone planning to their first trek in Nepal, especially to the Annapurna Base Camp? As you
so I'm quite an experienced hiker. I live in Hong Kong, which is pretty much similar to what you see right now, very much hills and very good hikes to do. I've done various hikes up to volcanoes around Indonesia. So I'm fairly experienced. So when it comes to day one, for example, is quite difficult. It's probably your hardest day. A lot of steps, very maybe warm. There's a lot of steps, and whenever you turn a corner, there's more steps. So I'm used to that because I live in Hong Kong.
You have already.
So if you are someone who thinks they'd be able to do this because of their fitness levels, but they go for walks around Scotland or England or Wales, and where it can be fairly flat, just try to think, because it can get quite difficult.
Obviously.
Any other advice? I would say just go for it. One thing you can do, I think the best thing about Breeze is they offer the WhatsApp, so they can contact you yourself and just ask any questions that you have. Obviously, when you're planning a trip to Spain or whatever, you don't have these sort of reps to be able to provide this sort of knowledge and advice. And speaking to you really did comfort me, because when you've never been to a place and you're planning an excursion, you have so much to think about. Flights, equipment, where do I go, where do I meet, who do I meet? It's really tough. And when you have someone on the other side who's living here to be able to provide you that information, it's really great. So everything was kind of organized, really. I landed, sorted out the hotel. Once I got the hotel, you mentioned that you were going to come meet me. You met me, and then from then it's kind of like I've just been follow the leader. It's like, okay, direct me here, direct me here. You booked the flights, I booked the flight, I went to Pokhara, did the hike, came back, and then you met me at the airport. So everything's just been smooth. Next time, like, I'll consider how I work it and how much help I have from you guys. Because I think once you know a place, it's good to kind of experience it yourself a little bit. But for sure, if you've never done it before, it's good to get that advice from someone that's living here and obviously has experience.
Obviously, Well, it's really nice to talk with you, and thank you very much for sharing your experience of trekking to Annapurna Base Camp. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.
Annapurna Base Camp.